So this is a piece of Mimosa that I picked up 4 or 5 months ago, maybe a little longer. And I turned one bowl out of it and really liked it. It was an emerging bowl. And I thought I'd try to utilize this piece, but when I pulled it out from where I had it stored, this whole area is just rotten. The rest of it doesn't look all that good. So I just sawed this off, tried to parallel it up with the opposite side, and I cut it in the exact right spot. It is just a beautiful piece of wood, and this is nice and hard. And it's just paper thin to the rod area. So I sure got lucky where I cut that. It's gonna have to be cut up a lot smaller to get it in balance. I don't know what I'm going to make out of it. I'm going to start cutting on it until I get rid of some of the bad wood and see what size I have. I'm going to turn something out of here. Not sure what, but we're going to do it. Well, I have this piece of Mimosa mounted. I decided to go for a natural edge. I don't know how it's going to work out. Big old void over here. Had rotten wood on it. But I know it sure has pretty grain. So we'll see what I can get out of there. Alright, I'm going to go to my favorite rough wood tool. It's almost looking promising in there. Its grain is really nice. I have to decide how much of this I want to turn away. Probably all of it. The bark is tore away from that area there. I'll turn a little bit more on it and see. Alright, maybe I can use a bowl gouge on it now. Try this 5/8 bowl gouge. Almost 700 RPM. Okay, I'm going to probably get rid of this right here. I think it's time to resharpen. Alright, let's try this. I'm going to cut from this direction and preserve that bark right there. going to start from right about here and go down. Alright, I'm going to get a tenon on here. I kind of like the diameter I have right there. It's kind of a common looking bowl, but I like the looks of it, and the wood looks really good on there. So let's work on this tenon a little bit. Well, this feels good here. I'm going to put a recess down in there, and then I'll just have this rim for the base, and it'll give me a little better chance of making sure I have solid wood for that tenon. Well, that should fit pretty good there. Boy, that's going to look nice. We're so lucky that we have this beautiful wood to work with. Well, I've got the tenon size down to where I want it, and I'm going to sand part way up here because I really want to have a good look at this grain. Right now it just looks amazing, but I'm not going to sand up in this area here because I don't know what's going to happen when I turn the inside with the void that I have here and with this dark bad spot right there. I may be reshaping that, so there's no reason to sand it, and maybe there's no reason to sand this here except I want to have a look at it. I've got this reversed into my chuck and finally stopped to take a good look at what's going on here. This edge is at a 1/2 inch and the lowest spot is 2.5. It's a 2-inch difference in this height. I've got that big crack coming across here. This area here will be much more difficult to turn than down in when you're in the flat here, but we're going to just give it a shot. I'm going to start a lot farther in. I want to get down and see what that crack looks like in there. This actually cuts pretty decently. I'm going to have to get the tailstock out of the way, or otherwise I'll be fighting it the whole time, because I want to sneak into here and find out how solid that is. It doesn't really matter because that crack's the same depth on the inside as it is on the outside, and that's kind of what I was looking to see. Alright, if this works a little better. There's the dark wood. Oh, that is pretty nice wood. I want to think about this a little bit more before I go any deeper. So I'll get rid of that in the middle and take a fresh look at it tomorrow. All right. All right, let's start taking the bottom down a little bit. Okay, keeping that wall pretty good. I'll use this 1/2-inch bowl gouge now. Okay, just a little bit more off of this wall here, and we'll start blending into the bottom, and we'll be getting ready to do some scraping and sanding. I'm going to do the big scraper now. That's about right. I probably should sharpen this. The last thing I used this on was that Locust. Okay, let's see if that's a little bit better. Yeah, nice shaving. I think I'll probably just sand the rest of this. I kind of thought if I took a little bit more out, it would open that hole up, which is fine. Which is just fine. So now we just need to finish that bottom out. It's almost there. I'm thinking I better stop right there. Okay. Do some of this with the scraper here. I've gone over the bowl with my negative rake scraper. It feels good. I'm going to sand it now. It's going to be noisy and it'll take a little while. I've got irregular edge here and then some real delicate wood, so I won't power sand this, but below it I will. So we'll start the sanding. I'll turn the dust collector on, and then I'll come back when it's all done. Time to put the finish on. Well, I just finished sanding this up to 400 grit, and it's not perfect, but this area is not perfect either. So I think it looks just fine, and I always debate on what finish to put on, but this one has got so much different colors happening and the highlights that I'm going to go with lacquer on this one as well. Yeah, that gives it a really rich color, and it's got this really strange contrast. I guess that's what Mimosa is like, but you have this dark, rich wood that looks like a cross between walnut and mahogany, and even a little bit like koa. Then you have this piece up here, it looks like maple. This must be somewhat of the end grain right here, and that's where it looks a little porous. I think it's just the end grain. I like it. It's going to be just fine. Well, I put 2 coats of sanding sealer on it, and I brushed on 2 thinned out coats of lacquer, and I'm going to spray it now. I sanded in between each coat. I've just gone over this with 4/0 steel wool, and the grain is just amazing. I don't know if you can see it when you rotate it, but I sure can. This area here is just kind of rather real dark, but then you have this color here that's all blended together. Just beautiful piece of wood. And it's so amazing because I was able to get some small pieces of mimosa, and had I seen the ad a week earlier that they were giving this away, I probably would have got a whole bunch, but I got what was left. I turned a emerging bowl out of one piece, which is a very beautiful piece of wood. They had this piece right here laying next to their recycle bin and was going to throw it away, and they told me, just walk back and look over there. If you want that, you can have it. Well, I looked at it and it was pretty gnarly looking, but I know better now. You cannot judge a piece of wood by its cover. So I'm going to spray some lacquer on this now. I finished this bowl with multiple coats of lacquer sprayed on, and now I'm going to try some of my homemade sanding paste that I made. It's just a mixture of mineral oil, beeswax, and diatomaceous earth. I've used it a couple times already and I like the results, so I'm going to use it on this bowl. I'm going to rub it in really good. I'm going to run the lathe in reverse at a slow speed and then just kind of rub this in. Well, I'm all finished polishing this finish out with my sanding paste, and I like how it turned out. You can see it really has a nice depth to it now. So now it's time to take the tenon off and put a little finish on the bottom, and we're done. Well, here's the finished mimosa bowl. I'm really happy with it. I managed to keep this area here, which was cracked quite a ways down, and I didn't want to go any thinner, take a chance on having that fall apart. I managed to keep all the bark on the top. It's pretty unusual itself. I like how the yellow is showing up through the dark part of that bark. It's very interesting. And the grain in this bowl is hard to describe, other than it's just spectacular. And the outside is equally spectacular. This area here is just a dark, kind of a walnut look, but as we come around here, this is my favorite area here. And I did use lacquer on it, and the sanding paste that I made and I've been using lately has brought that lacquer into a somewhat of a French polish look on it. It just changes it drastically. And here's the bottom. It's just like the rest of the bowl. It just has some really nice grain in it. There's a dark line that starts on the side and it comes right down through here. Not sure what was going on, but it just really is pretty. So there it is. I really enjoyed making this turning, and I hope you like the bowl. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, click the like button and that'll let me know. If you currently are not subscribed to my channel, please consider subscribing. Many thanks to all of you who are subscribed. You are the reason I do this. Thanks for watching. Until the next time, see you later.